Shalom, shalom, and I just want to cover this issue regarding Cholov Yisrael milk versus Cholov Akum and Cholov Stam. These are issues that have inundated the Jewish community, and a lot of which the arguments back and forth, it goes pro and con to such an extent that you'll hear debates between those who are OUD and those who are Cholov Yisroel. Each one has its own particular problems and issues that in the Jewish community they face. Obviously, a lot of this information can be looked up online. You can go to stark.com. You can go to a lot of the different hashgachahs online and see the whole entire debate regarding this. One thing is very clear, is that what today is classified as OUD is definitely not by Moshe Feinstein considered Cholov Akum, which means that automatically is a standard where you have milk that is regulated by the USDA and the eyes of all Jews are upon it. Thus, if any errors take place, it becomes an issue of public health, which Moshe Feinstein speaks about that. And one of the leading pasuk din is that of Moshe Feinstein, making thus the OUD completely acceptable and kosher for consumption. However, more the Haredi, the more the levels of orthodoxies that wish only to have milk that is Cholov Yisrael, obviously in today's level, is plagued with a lot of different issues, and I'll explain that to you in a second. One of the areas, for example, that we learn by a lot of the Koshers is that the time of old, when farms were basically mixing milk from different animals, there was a question whether that milk was actually allowed to be drank. In other words, it would be considered like milk that was basically milk by a non-Jewish person who had mixed other kinds of milk, goat milk, perhaps other type of secretions of other animals, in order to be able to use it as fillers within the milk. Obviously, this is a problem a lot in Europe and Spain and some parts of Latin America. It's not a big issue here in the United States, where OUD, or as Moshe Feinstein writes, that Cholov Stam is predominant. But I'm bringing this video out to point that the issues that's being raised regarding Cholov Akum by many of the Hasidic world and ultra-Orthodox world really does not have the grasp. As a matter of fact, I brought up an issue, especially within a particular Hasidic group, that is now running towards the issue of avodah zarah, very similar of the first century co-religionists, where Jews begin to idolatrize and to lift up their leader to such an extent as to the level of a deity or divinity, or as the Lubavitcher Rebbe himself said about his father-in-law, that we have an Ein Sof in a bodily or clothed in a bodily form. This becomes a very big issue to all Jews that's watching this video, because obviously those of you who hold by Cholov Yisrael, if you look at the milk carton that is being sent to you to drink Cholov Yisrael, it is done by that particular hashgachah that is handled and controlled by this group of people who basically believe that the Rebbe of Lubavitch is not only the Messiah, but he is Ein Sof in a bodily form. And thus, many of these mashgihims are actually doing a service when milking the cow and observing the cow, in honor and in service to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, so that he gets all the kavod. Now this becomes a big issue, as Rabbi David Berger mentioned in his book, and I'm repeating the issues of Rabbi Berger because I'm not relying on my own authority, but just to make reference of something that was already pre-told. The majority of the mashgihims that are observing the cows being milked are Mashiachist. They believe that the Lubavitcher Rebbe is Mashiach. And not only that when they do the service, they declare Yehi Adonenu. They believe that he is the one. He is God in bodily form. This becomes, my friend, a big, big issue. So next time you pick up a carton of Cholov Yisrael milk and you drink it, it's not an issue of Cholov Yisroel versus Cholov Akum. It's an issue of drinking Chalav Maasei Avoda zarah, which completely is prohibited for any Jew to drink, be it the most liberal Jew to the most religious Jew. So this is why I strongly hold that what Moshe Feinstein says, that we really don't have true emet Cholov Yisrael milk, because those who control it is governed by a system which they dedicate to the service of their master, the milk. And thus anyone drinking the milk that says Cholov Yisrael with the C Crown Heights kosher, you must question whether you should drink it. This is Moshe Otero, and this is my thoughts regarding Cholov Yisrael. For more information, you can contact us. You can contact me directly at rabbiotero@yahoo.com, or go to any of the validated kashrut organizations regarding this information. Shalom.